What a crack. Happens when you crack beers at
whatever time. We don't need to disclose. Don't disclose.
PM. Okay, it's a PM.
PM.
Whatever. It's no punts allowed. Paige, Adam, we are not live, but we're late for good reason. What?
However, us being late allowed everyone to hear our take on Bill Belichick because that news broke after we would have recorded. And I was like, you know what? Sometimes the football gods are like looking out, and this is what they were looking out for. Is
we also have a reputation for this. We have missed out on like huge stories by like 30 minutes sometimes. And yes, it's this is a good one. I have thoughts. You have thoughts. This is wild. Do we want to? Well, first and foremost, subscribe, share, spam, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Instagram, YouTube. If you want the realest version of No Punts Allowed, go to YouTube so you can watch us battling reading words. That's usually my problem, trying to read sentences off my computer screen. But you get the fullest responses. Yeah, facial expressions for sure.
That's really producer Matt always puts like the funniest thumbnails of like me, and it's usually me with like cracking up at something you said, or me with like my mouth wide open because of something you said. And so
it's also just to let everyone behind the curtain a little bit. We already had we were just talking what to talk about, and had one of those moments before the show. Then almost sort of kind of forgot to hit record for the pod. Almost the podless pod week. But we have a pod, which means we have to talk about one Bill Belichick. I just go ahead. Where do we start?
Okay, so I think first let's start with a breakdown of where this is at, then go from where it's about to go. So we have obviously seen that this has gotten really bad at UNC. They have lost, but not only just lost, their losses have been by 25 points or more. It's concerning. Their GM sent a letter out to, supporters saying trust the process. He literally was quoting Sam Hinkie in this and being trust the process. They used to annoy me, but now I get it, blah, blah, blah. Then was talking about Bill Walsh. He quoted so many people in this letter to be guys, the last regime kind of left us with, difficulty with, recruiting. And then, transfer portal is really expensive. So you can only do that to fill holes. It's not how you build a team. So we're going to recruit in high school. Let us recruit the high schoolers and develop those players. Give us the time. So that was the message. Then, everybody just made fun of that. But then we start to hear these rumors that UNC is having a conversation with Bill Belichick and he's willing to talk about his contract. Because if they did fire him, they would owe him $20 million guaranteed. And they would also owe his staff $5+ million. So realistically speaking, best case scenario for them in that circumstance is, hey, we let it ride out for another year, maybe restructure his contract a little bit at the end of the year, let him fire some people around him. But if we're going to pay that money anyway, we might as well try and work that out. That's essentially what they were hoping would happen. Then we get this, one of the assistant coaches is going to be in violation of NCAA rules. Is there going to be more coming down? And then it's oh, that's why Belichick is being forced in these conversations. And then, of course, we get this lovely statement. And I just want to say that statements have never lied. Statements have never lied in the past, okay? But literally, if you look at this statement, it is the most comical thing I've ever seen in my life. It is just statements from Carolina Athletics. I'm fully committed to UNC football and the program we're building here. Bill Belichick. Coach Belichick has the full support of the Department of Athletics and University. Bubba Cunningham, Director of Athletics. That's it. So, Kramer, now that was the saga. It took a little while to explain, but that is the saga. What do you think happens? Do you think there's truth to some of these rumors?
Yes, there is. So what happens when you want to fire a coach with a big buyout? You dig up the recruiting dirt that you would otherwise leave be. This is the cycle, right? So when coaches will negotiate their buyout, let's say, a buyout of $20 million and they're only getting 12, a lot of that is a game of chicken with the administration saying, hey, we could do this. You could get a show cause, blah, 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 blah. So this is the fact that is out in the ether means this is real. The
Yeah.
report that here's the other problem. You've got parents of players talking about the toxicity. You've
Yes.
got the reporting that coaches on the staff are already reaching out to playoff contenders as for analyst roles so they can get back in the game. This stuff does not emerge from nowhere.
Nowhere.
And the fact that the university had to come out with this chicken shit statement says a lot to me. They're acknowledging it. And there's no substance in their acknowledgments. I honestly, I would be surprised if he's the head coach in 2 weeks. I would be surprised. I think it's going to reach a level of toxicity that they can no longer endure.
Yeah.
And I think that will be what ultimately does them in.
Does it? No. And here's the thing. If you're UNC, you want this to work out because you're like, oh, this is egg on our face and having to do this. But how bad it's gotten. And one of the things that, like, he's going to get fired after this anyway. If there are already rumors that the locker room's divided, and there was a quote from one of the players, like somebody asked him about this idea of a rebuild, and he was like, I'm not here for a rebuild. I'm here to win games. And what happens when the locker room is lost is you reach the end of the season and they all leave and go into the portal. So a max exodus at the end is sort of what is looking like is on the horizon.
Yes.
For UNC, that starts you at the very beginning. So there's no rebuilding or building on this when what you brought in is going to leave because of the environment. So
who the fuck would sign up for this?
Exactly. Who's going to come play for him? And no, I think that's the problem, is that that's the only thing I could see paying the money that they are going to have to pay for him to go away. They were graced by God with the violations that they could find to make this happen, where they probably don't have to pay as much. But if they were going to have to pay that $20 million and then the whatever to the staff, you're gonna need a reason. And I think showing that, like, okay, recruiting wise, people are gonna leave, things are gonna it's gonna be bad. It's like, it's so, and also let's not forget the piece about that they were doing a docu-series on this and that got shut down. Like, this is so bad. It's so bad in so many ways that I just don't think, to your point, they recover, and I think they figure out a way to mutually leave. I think that rumor about him, I don't think he gets a coaching job. I think he could get that cushy media job immediately, but this is bad, like, in every capacity.
Obviously, if something happens, we'll tie the bow on this. But when you think about this hire, it's hard to even put into words the level of shit from the start to now that this has been. By the way, that Skip Bayless tweet, which I retweeted yesterday, it's amazing. Where after the first UNC touchdown, he tweeted, "Wow, Belichick has a national championship offense. Heels just shredded Frogs defense." That's just great, right? I'm sorry, that's just such a Skip Bayless tweet. Like, it's great. No, I mean, like, this could go down. I told you this yesterday. This could go down as being one of the worst hires in the history of, like, collegiate athletics. Like,
yeah. Do you think that Nick Saban has his "I told you so" like text ready to go? Because I'm almost positive that he would have said to him, "Hey, this is a different animal than the pros, especially the way that it's looking now." There's a reason Nick Saban left. And the fact that Bill Belichick was willing to come into college football during this time just seemed so weird to begin with, that I'm like, I wonder if you had to consult your friend and be like, how do you be successful with this? What would you do? And it's not great. You can't run it like it's not the NFL. That's the thing. It could be as much like the NFL as you want. You can't run it like the NFL. These players are choosing to be there.
I'll take this a step further. Like, he's full of shit. Like, I'm not getting the UNC interview, but, like, this is banning the Patriots from your facility, allegedly not letting them tweet about Drake. So you're like a fucking dork. Like, are you serious? And your product sucks. This is like, you were one of the greatest NFL coaches ever, and, like, full stop. And now this is what we know of you. And to be that petty and to have the much younger girlfriend involved every step, this is a fucking embarrassment. Like,
no,
a monumental fucking embarrassment of epic proportions.
It's cracking me up that the more we talk about this, the more we're remembering things that have happened since he's been there. And it's just like unreal. Like you mentioned the stuff about Drake May, like totally forgot about that. That was literally news at the beginning of this week and we've completely forgot about it because of just all of this craziness. So at the end of the day, I feel most sorry for the players that are at UNC. Yes. This sucks no matter what happens, regardless. This conversation outside of it where they're playing, that it's terrible and that really is awful.
Yes. No, they're going to be the ones. And this is going to be a departure. But this is why the school, you can't wait. Like, you got to get this over with. This is only going to end bad.
Yes.
And as embarrassing as this is, it was a horrific hire, but you made it. So just start over. Because when you wait and wait and wait, you're going to have an exodus no matter who's the coach. So you might as well just figure out a way to restart. I truly have never seen, like, Urban in the NFL is the closest thing, right? Because that was such a galactic disaster, much like this. But that's the only thing I can remember even close to something like this.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm like waiting for the tweet to come out that Bill Belichick is like gone, and I don't know how soon it's going to come, but it will come.
The other last thing, and I saw somebody tweet about this. You would think somebody like Belichick would show passion or the want to make this work. I've not gotten the vibe one time that he gives a flying fuck if he bottoms out or not. Like, and even after the first game, we wrote about this. And it's funny when you read it now, it's like, why do this? How much longer can this go on? Because he just didn't really seem to want any part of this from the start other than to have a foot in the door. Honest, to your point, like, to put the kids and their families through this is it's an embarrassment. So do they even play this week? I gotta be honest. No, they don't. They have a bye. Right? And then who do let's do this. Because you know what's going to make this way worse is like actual football results. So they play at Cal. Oh, this is fun. Hold on.
They're going to lose that.
They play at Cal. They play Virginia. They play at Syracuse. I mean, in theory, they're going to definitely lose their next two games. God, this schedule sucks. It's not that bad. Stanford, at Wake Forest, Duke, NC State. I mean, they're probably going to lose them all, though. I mean, Jesus. I don't know.
Well, also, like, think about trying to get people to play with all of this going on. Like, that's just the other part of it. It's mentally exhausting.
Mentally exhausting. Got to move on.
Yes, we do. You know what else is mentally exhausting? Being a Penn State fan.
Buddy, it's bad. It's bad.
Oh.
So what do we... is James Franklin the head coach of Penn State 1 year from right now?
No. I don't know that he saves this. I think unless anything short of a national championship, he doesn't save this. This is like the Ryan Day special, though. Like, you have to win a national championship or you don't save this. You lose your job.
I'm sort of in awe, not just that they lost that game, but how they lost that game. Like, that's the thing. I mean, who they lost to, under what circumstances they lost it. Like,
I think I said last week that I didn't want to blame Drew Aller because I think the play calling was atrocious in the Oregon game. That last play for Penn State to be able to go and win that game, that last drive, I mean, absolutely terrible. I don't understand. That is like just so ridiculous. But also on the flip side, very happy story for UCLA. That was a cool thing to see. We were talking about the kids at UNC. Very exciting for the kids at UCLA because that's what it's really all about. But yeah, I don't see James Franklin getting out of this without like national championship or bust at this point. You have no choice.
You know, Drew Aller had like his best game, like, and they lost.
Also, his post-game press conference, he is so okay. I will say this: last year, remember when Ohio State lost to Michigan, I sent you a message and I was like, this could be what they needed to have that revenge arc. Like, they need to just be like, us against the world, let's go. And to be honest, Drew Aller looked a little like, I saw the like evil in his eyes. And I was like, you know what? I'll take that. He was really sassy in his post-game press conference. And I was like, you know what? I know he's a fiery guy, but I think this is on a whole new level. I think they better have had team meetings, talked about this, done the Ohio State thing. If you learn anything from a bad loss like this, you go, okay, we really need to like band together and find a way and like really use all the like rallying cries you possibly can to get this team to win out the rest of the season.
I don't even put this loss on him, and I've put plenty of them on him.
Yes.
They let up 42 points.
Yeah.
Aller, 19 of 26, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, 78 rushing yards. Again, not horrible, but you went out and paid a defensive coordinator $3 million. You stole him from what was believed to be your biggest conference rival in Ohio State,
yep.
at least to winning the conference. And that's what you get in return. Look, this team hasn't looked right from the start. It didn't look right against FIU in 34-0. It didn't look right against Nevada. They were valiant in a comeback against Oregon. But like, and then I look at the schedule to your point about what next. So you play Northwestern, and then you go to Iowa, and then you go to Ohio State, Indiana, at Michigan State, Nebraska. You got some losable games coming up now. At least like that feel losable all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he'll be gone. I don't. I think the conversations internally sometimes are a lot different than the conversations externally, but I think it's probably getting a lot harder to defend him. Not that we have defended him, quite honestly.
If they miss the college football playoff, I don't think there's a doubt in my mind that he's gone.
I don't know what is his buyout. Hold on. He's probably got some. This is the other. But yes, to the point about toxicity, like, what's that locker room going to be like?
They're also paying they got a lot of money. They're paying a lot of money to some of these players for them to have stayed in college. So,
oh, for sure, that's a great point too. Like,
I mean, I don't think they're worried about what they'd have to pay him to go away to get that program actually winning. Also, did you see the video BR posted over how much time?
No,
would they be able to? That's his contract, or is it his buyout?
Buyout.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. 5 straight week, he would be received $48 million. It doesn't say. I don't think it's a lump sum. I doubt it's a lump sum.
Yeah,
which changes the discussion then.
Yeah, if you can, map that out over a few years, you do what you need to do. There was BR had a video that they talked to Penn State fans, and they were asking them like this or that, and they were having them pick between college coaches. So funny, by the way. What's funny about it is Penn State fans actually would take James Franklin over quite a few coaches. Brian Kelly was one, Urban Meyer, but that obviously is a rivalry thing, so that's why they're saying that.
Well, it's more than
Dabo
that.
Swinney was the only one that they were like split on. They were like, okay, we'll take Dabo. And then there's just one girl in this video who's like, I will take anybody over James Franklin. It is time for James Franklin to go. And I was like, shout out her for sticking to her guns and not
very
worried
honest.
Yeah, very honest. She's not afraid that it's being recorded. There's one that was like, I can't really say on camera. And I'm like, well, buddy, you might need to. But yeah, Penn State needs to win out for him to save his job, in my opinion, but we will see.
I realize our next, as we change gears, we're kind of just gliding. It's like 3 different topics, all with the same tenor. And that is Texas, Arch Manning, and Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah, just coaching.
It's like a river of sadness.
I do actually, before we move on from Penn State, UCLA, want to mention Nico Iamaleava and just say when he is used properly and given the opportunity to be successful, he is. So just want to
it is funny. Like that guy's eating a lot of shit too. Like he was a 5-star kid and he's enormously talented. Like like none of that has changed. Like he was young. He wasn't as great as maybe we expected in Tennessee. Also, like, still a very young player, relatively young player. The kid has the ability to be special. And I agree with you. It's nice to see them utilize him in a way that was productive.
Yes.
Also, that trade with Tennessee, like, it looked like everyone was, Tennessee got just let's recount that one at the end of the year. Like, that's all I'm saying. Let's
wait to the end of the year.
Let's do the math in December versus now.
Yes,
and then we can figure out how we feel.
But yes, to your point, let's get back to disappointing seasons, overhyped situations. Texas, Arch, Sark. Where do you want to dig in first?
I don't love what Sarkisian is saying. When they're asking about the underperformance, Sarkisian basically said, well, you go into Gainesville and Columbus and play, right? 134. I get what he's saying, and I don't think he's wrong, but I don't think you can say it. I think you need to accept it and move on. So I don't like that he's making excuses. And I don't know, this Arch thing is such a mess. I think it truly, we wrote about this week, like, he should probably not be playing, because I feel like we're seeing a player with talent, like, just be mismanaged and his emotions be tangled with. And I think the long-term impact on somebody like that could be significant. So I don't think Arch, the book is not closed on Arch yet at all. But it feels like in this moment in time, I don't know how you feel about this. We didn't talk about this. It would probably better serve all parties maybe to take a breath from this. And maybe bigger page, like, this is the thing I've been thinking about since I wrote, like, I don't think Arch is on this team next year. I really don't. I think the Manning Corporation is going to look at this and say, like, this is untenable. Like, the dialogue, we need to go somewhere different. I've like looked at this in every different way. No matter where I land, regardless of what happens this weekend, I don't see like a litany of positive endings for any of the three right now.
So I think the part that we're sort of maybe glossing over a little bit is, like, the reason that Sark hasn't made this move is because, like, actually, I think you were trying to make that point here. That has, like, a major ripple effect.
Yes.
A major ripple effect. And I don't think it's one he wants to commit to just yet. Like, I think, knows that Arch, has the capability to play better and be better. And it's not happening right away. But I think, like, it's a catch-22 in this sense, okay? Because you benching Arch Manning probably does mean that he leaves in the portal. Texas fans right now, probably okay with that. But what do you have coming in? So they have a freshman, Bell. He's just got a season-ending injury in high school. He is going to be at Texas in January, rehabbing, should be fine for next season if that's the way they wanted to go. You could also go portaling yourself. Many have questioned why Sark didn't go portaling himself this offseason. But obviously, the last name Manning, you got to give him a chance, all of these things. But I do think at some point, like, it's malpractice to not put in Matthew Caldwell and just let him play for a little bit. If Arch struggles against Oklahoma, fine. I don't think he should start. I don't think he should bench Arch to start against Oklahoma. Because to be fair, if you look at the Florida game, like, Arch was their leading rusher. He was doing the best he could. That's a really good Florida defense. So we got to just, like,
his
which is kind of what the point he's trying to make, by the way, with, like, saying all those things. But let's just go back to last year, Texas, and remember that you had an easier schedule. So I don't want to hear it. Anyway, but it's honestly like, okay, fine. Give him the start against Oklahoma. That defense is insane. If he struggles, put in Caldwell. Give it an opportunity to be like, you know what? I gotta try this. Arch is struggling. Let's just see. Not let me bench him at the start, where it's like, I made a game time decision to try to win a game, blah, blah, blah. You can justify it a little better. I think the biggest part of this is that Sark is trying to strategically make this decision based on ruffling the least amount of feathers, and it's costing him wins. If they lose to Oklahoma, then I think he'll bench Arch. And I think that's why they'll be able to justify it to the Mannings and to Arch and say, hey, we lost this game, playoffs out of it. Let's see. Let's give you a break. Let's take a beat, blah, blah, blah. So I think he's really being soft about this decision when, like, you need to be. Also, Texas fans, sorry, I'm about to go on a rant. Texas fans have been so soft about this conversation around Sark. Like, I'm sorry, you can blame the media all you want for overhyping him and doing all of that. No, it is Steve Sarkisian's job to evaluate a quarterback and tell us if he is the best for that program to win and play him. And it doesn't look like Arch is that. So yeah, he does need to take the blame. We've said he obviously sent James Franklin a gift basket. Thank you for making sure the narrative wasn't being talked about. But if James Franklin gets fired and Sark doesn't make the playoff this year, yeah, we start to wonder what happens with Texas. Is he the guy to be able to win the big games, get them all the way there? That is a conversation you have to start having. I don't know why Texas fans like worship the ground he walks on because of everything he's done for Texas, which is great. He's made them relevant again. He has recruited well. He's developed well. Great. But it doesn't matter unless you win national championships. Look at Ryan Day. Like, hello, what are we doing?
I just don't know how Texas, as we sit here today, can go into next year with Arch Manning as their quarterback when the transfer portal will allow them to basically go get the best quarterback in the country, more or less. I mean, with tampering, it is seriously.
Like, yeah, no, they can.
So, like, why? The Manning element to this is important. And Arch, by the way, seems like a great kid.
Yes,
I don't like it because Arch.
He could have gone in the portal too.
Arch seems like a really great kid, but you can't, like, to your point, he is hedging his bet. But as he's hedging his bet, I think it's doing a disservice to all parties involved, including himself, Arch, or Sark, I should say.
Yes.
So, and I understand why he would do that. Like, this is going to be, and it's not like they have, like when it was Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning, it's not like they have a definitive, like, Arch on this team behind Arch, which makes it that much harder. And by the way, they're going to win this week. And maybe things will calm down. But I just don't see how this marriage continues beyond this year.
No, 2 final points here. The first being, I think Sark's hope is that maybe if there is a benching at some point this season, he could do it in a way that wouldn't make Arch leave. Or ruffle feathers that way. So that's why I think he's hesitant about it. The second thing is Steve Sarkisian should try using Matthew Caldwell. And here's why. Because his offense, though it's very explosive and all those things, starts with the run. And you need a game manager for that. You don't really need to have great success other places. You don't need a great passer and all these things. You need your offensive line to be better. So they need to absolutely be better. And you need your run game to get going to make the rest of your offense work. And you could do it with a game manager. So why not see if that's the problem? Put him in, see if that gets the offense going, and rely heavily on your defense. It didn't play well last week, but should look a lot better and is really good. But that's why it's frustrating to me is like, you don't need a star quarterback to be great in a Steve Sarkisian offense. And what he is good at and being one of the best offensive minds in the country, like, I'm just frustrated that, like you said, he's doing a disservice to himself. Like, that's the part that's like, hey, I know they don't have a great guy to back up, but at least try. At least try.
This is not working. All right, that's enough sadness. Let's talk about some weird shit. And it's sort of Texas related. Jean Mateer.
Yes, this is the best.
All right. I think this shit, I've got a little bit of a rant, and I've said this before. I don't like what's going on here. I don't like mystery game of quarterback.
Is this the better in you talking?
Yes. During the week where they're saying college athletes, they're now available to bet on NFL sports. Betting is becoming the fabric of sports. The backbone of sports right now is becoming betting. I'm not saying that's positive or negative, but you can't be fucking around with this stuff. I do not like it. And honestly, like, the poor media, but like it makes this game very difficult to evaluate.
Okay. So on the flip side, gamesmanship with your opponent in terms of not letting them know that your quarterback's starting and it's about winning games at Oklahoma.
It
Sure,
was
they're eventually
fun.
going to have to disclose. That's all been the conversations, of course, around betting and college football being different than the pros in that aspect. But
Although teams are still not doing that, by the way,
yes,
and getting in
yes,
trouble for it. Yes.
yes. But I think the best part of this story, I know you're sad about the betting part. The best part of this story is
Mad.
that this rumor about John Mateer was started because some guy posted on a Tex, it's like Tex Ags. It's the Texas A&M like
Yeah.
Reddit
Oh,
thread
yeah.
or something. Posted about how he saw John Mateer in Chipotle and he said he was 100% playing versus Texas, which is like absolutely gold. This Texas A&M
So
fan
college
could just
football.
be trolling Texas so hard right now, and it would be hilarious. However, he is listed as questionable, so I don't know. I'm curious to see what happens. I don't know that they do it. I don't think it's necessarily worth it unless they start to struggle against Texas. Then you can bring him in. But I think you maybe let it see if you can do it with your backup.
Yeah, this seems like a lot to ask, too. I don't know exactly what the injury was, but he had, broken hand surgery a couple of weeks ago on his
Yeah.
throwing hand, correct?
Yeah.
Hey, maybe he's just like Wolverine and just like recovers.
I mean, I'm sure his hand is like in a hyperbolic chamber every night. Like
Seriously. Oh, yeah.
They're doing
I
everything
don't
they can to get him back. He's going through treatment.
I don't think he's going to play, personally. I do think it's gamesmanship. I just don't like. I don't like this part of it. Like, and I get it. So you have the rumor, and then Oklahoma's happy to let things just kind of sit where they may, because then you have to study up on multiple QBs. I don't know. The whole thing just kind of pisses me off. Are you in or not?
What if Arch just like torches this defense and then the narrative completely shifts? Like this is just classic college football. I feel like that would be so funny if Arch just like found it versus Oklahoma.
Texas is favored to win this football game, right? What is the total in this game? Let me see. It can't be a lot. This total has to be. The total is a very Iowa-like 43.5. So, and we recorded a video. Like, my biggest takeaway was Oklahoma's offense has not been that good. Like, they're like 45th in the country. They're not terrible, but they're not, they're not. I don't think they are what we thought they were. And they have a backup quarterback. What's that?
Defense with championships.
But both
Ohio
defenses
State's
are
going to
good.
win another national championship, by the way.
I know. Yeah, it's like, why are we even talking about anybody else?
Yeah, seriously.
All right, and then finally, and then we can talk about actual football games. And I don't know. I can't remember if I'm changing my take on this opinion. We'll talk that.
Are you really?
I might be. Mario Cristobal has come out. This probably comes up once or twice a year from somebody, and it's basically said that the Heisman needs to be rewarded after all the postseason games are played. And there's a quote in here. It says the whole award before the postseason games are played is absolutely bizarre to me.
Okay. You and I have longstanding agreed with this take. So for the fact that you're changing it just is another reason why I just think you don't like Mario Cristobal, because you've been very critical of him in the past for many reasons. But it sounds like your brain has been tainted a little bit with the fact that Mario, you think you're on the same side as Mario Cristobal. Are you okay?
Yeah, no, like I want to. Well, we have to take inventory. Do you agree with him or not?
So I agree with him, but I think I understand the argument against it, because like if there's a lot of really good, the best player in college football should be about the regular season.
I'm fine with that. Like, I actually think we should come up with an award that awards postseason excellence. Yes.
Okay. I agree with you there. I think a playoff-esque, a CFB playoff award that is voted on for most outstanding player.
Yeah, do that. Like, yes. The Heisman, to me, college football's regular season used to be the coolest regular season in sports. I get times change, Grandpa, don't hold on to that. Fine. But I still think having that open access to everybody is important, because if you're going to truly award the best players aren't often on the best teams, and those teams are not getting into the playoff, right? So I don't like what it stands for, because you eliminate essentially any group of 5 player who can make things weird. and you eliminate a lot of teams that are really good. Let's say a player on Notre Dame, CJ Carr, has a tremendous year, but they just miss out on the playoff.
No.
And so as a result, he has no chance. I just think I get why we do. And the playoff's going to expand. It's going to evolve. It's only going to get bigger. I'm good with this, where it is. Actually, I love where it is.
Well, I mean, like Travis Hunter, a perfectly good example of this.
He would not have won. That's the best example.
Yeah.
Saying CJ Carr, that's a bad example. Travis Hunter is the best example. He was the best player in college football. And he would not have won as a result. I don't think. Who would you have given it to? Will Howard? Maybe? Right? Like, maybe Travis Hunter should have won. But, like, when you're going to have a team play 3 games, like, you open yourself up. The Heisman is, if we're fixing the Heisman, let's start in, like, 25 other areas.
Yeah.
Who's voting? When are they voting? How are they voting?
Are they watching football games?
Yes.
Are they going to sleep before West Coast games and leaving us someone who broke a record that stood for 27 years? It was never broken, before that by anyone in the SEC or anywhere else. But if it's done in the Pac-12, no one cares.
College football has lost a lot of its soul. It's okay. It's fine. You don't have to but this is one thing you can hang on to.
Yes.
It's all good.
All right, let's talk games this week.
Well, it's a banger slate.
It is, actually. I think I don't know. I don't think there's going to be a ton of upsets in my opinion, which I think you think the opposite because we did a show or a predictions video, and I also, very funny, I didn't look at your picks before and was like very shocked by a few of them. So let's go through what you have for ones you don't have for locks.
All right, hold on. I got to pull up locks. I thought I had it up, and then it's gone now. So I do not have a pick on Alabama, Missouri. And you did something unbelievable in the show we just did. Picked Missouri to beat Alabama. Now, we say it's unbelievable, not because I think Missouri has a ton of respect. Odds makers seem to have a ton of respect.
They have a legitimate chance. It's more just that, like, I myself am going against. Yes, my Heisman choice, my quote allegiance to them a little bit in some senses, but my affiliation, if you will. But no, I just, like, after thinking about it and really going through, like, okay, the points that I made were really, Missouri is the fresher team. They're at home. Their defense has played really well. Ty Simpson is great in a clean pocket, but if Alabama has to run the ball or, like, get a little bit more creative offensively, they haven't been great at that this year, and they haven't had to. And then, of course, Missouri has the leading rusher in the country. Alabama's not great in terms of run defense. So I don't know. I think this gives me the vibes where you were saying during the Vanderbilt game, you didn't feel like Texas. It's because I'm going to say they're back. Alabama was all the way back, and I feel like this could potentially be an upset. And then we start talking about Missouri as like a legitimate playoff team too.
Yeah, Missouri's good. This spread scares me. It's kind of odd to see Alabama like minus 2.5, minus 3 against Missouri. I don't mean that on a knock. It's just that's a great line if you're a Missouri fan. I think you got to be thrilled with that.
I genuinely think it's just because, like, Alabama has already been through a kind of a gauntlet the last couple of weeks, and it's just going to continue to have to do so. So I don't know. I'm getting the upset vibes.
I'm picking Alabama, but very, very close. And frankly, I do not feel good about this game whatsoever. I cannot wait for it, but I don't feel great about this game. I also don't have a strong take in Ohio State, Illinois. Now, the spread on this is 14.5, and the total is 49.5. And that total is really interesting because Ohio State's defense is a machine, allowing 25 points this year. Illinois' defense has been okay, obviously horrific if you're going to grade an individual point performance against Indiana. Playing at home, I think, is a much different beast. I still think it's okay to ask questions about Ohio State's offense. I do like that. But, like, they weren't great at Washington. So what do you think here?
I think that Ohio State's defense is just going to be way too much for Luke Altmaier. The way that I should say where he struggles is everything that Ohio State's offense or defense is. And I just feel like it's going to be too much for him because he's not great under pressure. And I think he's going to have a hard time reading that defense. And it's just not going to go well for him, especially seeing what Indiana did to them. I just genuinely worry that that's going to be the key for them. Even if Julian Sain doesn't have his best game and they still kind of don't take the training wheels all the way off for him, I think Ohio State's defense is just going to just be immaculate.
Illinois, I mean, I go back to the Duke game. You know, they won 45-19, but Duke was driving all over Illinois.
Yeah.
In that game, they turned it over 5 times.
8 times, yeah.
They let it up. They let up 32 points to USC. They let up 27 points to Purdue, albeit on the road. I thought Purdue was actually going to play a tougher game than they did. I agree with you. The spread says this is probably where it should be. It's a sneaky tough environment. It's actually an environment that's wreaked havoc on this program before.
Yeah.
I just can't pick against Ohio State.
Yeah, in terms of betting, though, I'd consider taking Illinois to cover, but Ohio State's for winning this game. I don't think it's an upset at all.
All right, so let's see what other games we talked about. Oklahoma, Texas. We disagree.
Do you have any? Yeah, is that in locks?
What's that? No, it's not. We can talk.
Okay.
I spoke mine. I think it's gonna be a gross game. I think Texas is up for a gross game. Neutral site will be good for them, considering where they've lost.
Yeah.
But I don't have a great feel of this one way or another. It's going to be ugly and it's going to be close. That's what I know.
Yeah, I'm going to take Oklahoma in that game. So there is a game that do you have Texas Tech, Kansas in your locks at all?
I do not. I almost did.
I do want to talk about that game because I'm very curious how you feel about this because you're pretty high on this Kansas team. Do you think that they can be competitive in this game versus Texas Tech?
I don't. I actually don't. Unfortunately, Kansas again. Like when you look at how they've played, this is unfortunately like a year and a half now. You know, this year they lost to Missouri at Missouri, 42-31. That was a great game.
Yeah,
even though it was double digits, that was very, very close. They lost to Cincinnati, who might be pretty good, 37-34. They just don't win good games. I don't like the fact that this game is on the road. I think Texas Tech is legit. The total of 59.5, that's what I thought about doing the locks because I think this could go over. I think just Texas Tech is better, unfortunately, in every respect.
Yeah.
How you feel?
I feel the same. I just was curious if you thought there would be an upset. A game we haven't really talked about is South Carolina LSU in your locks.
No, that's a mess.
It's a weird game. It's weird that we have not spoken about this game, whether in our predictions or anything else. Really, is it just because the lore of it is taken away? Like
yes. South Carolina has probably been one of the more disappointing teams in college football, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, they're not awful. I mean, they're 3-2. And LSU has been, underwhelming in a sense because they've been fine. Actually, the win over Florida doesn't look as bad. Like, it's an LSU team that's just kind of glided by. I feel like Clemson being so shitty has just totally taken the shine off of this team. But, and listen to the stretch coming up. Like, to your point, we will be talking about LSU because you have South Carolina. Then they play at Vandy. They play Texas A&M, and then they play at Alabama. Like, it's coming. I just don't know if this game can be competitive or not.
Yeah. All right, let's get into locks.
All right. Our favorite game, ride or die. So, Oregon, Indiana. I got to be honest, I struggled with this game, but obviously we're including the marquee game every week we do it. That's part of the gist. The spread was at 7. It looks like Oregon's up to 7.5. I thought the spread would be higher than that. So I think Indiana is actually getting a fair amount of respect here. I'm taking the under though. of 55.5. We mentioned this on the video we just did. These defenses are elite. They're like top 5, top 6 defenses in college football scoring wise. I was really impressed watching both of them play a variety of opponents. The Illinois game is a great example because Illinois has got some offense. I just think there's going to be some nervous energy for this game.
Yeah.
And they're going to score. There's too much talent not to score. But I think it's going to be one of those types of games. Quarterbacks are moving, clock is turning, and maybe not a lot of explosive plays. So what do you think there?
I'm going Oregon, obviously, but I think to your point, I don't think it's going to be I think it's going to be a grind. And I don't know in terms of spread though. Wait, so are you taking Oregon minus 7.5?
I'm taking the under. I'm only doing the under. I'm actually not taking the side because I think the side.
I can't decide on that either. I genuinely agree with you on that. I think it will be the under, and I'll ride that bet. But the spread, I don't know.
Indiana just I don't know what to do with them because Illinois was overwhelming. They were not overwhelming against Iowa. I don't think Iowa's that good. So we take the under and we move on. Now this game, I think we're going to have differences on. Auburn plus 3.5 versus Georgia. Statistically speaking, you have a fascinating game in that Auburn gets sacked more than pretty much anybody in college football, I think, other than Mississippi State. And Georgia is one of like the bottom 15 in terms of getting sacks, which is actually amazing because if we were to go back and look at what Georgia, like the origins of Georgia's success, it was rushing the passer, honestly.
Yeah.
So I think Auburn has a puncher's chance, and the fact that the spread is only 3.5 is wild to me. Paige, the public money is going to come all over like this game. It's going to be on Georgia. I don't like that. You know how I feel about it. So I like Auburn plus 3.5. I think Auburn can win this outright.
Yeah, I'm on the opposite side of that. I don't trust Hugh Freeze. I think if they struggle to pass the ball again, what we've seen is that they're just going to let their quarterback get sacked and not try and change anything. If you do try and change something, you're going against a defense that is pretty good at stopping the run. So I don't know. I'm just not on it. They've lost close game. I think it could be close, but they've lost like 2 of their other games by like 3 points, right? So It's like in close game situations, in like, sure, you get the home environment with you, but Jackson Arnold decision making, yeah, not for me. I'm going to go Georgia.
I understand why. I can't even wrong anybody for going the other way. Colorado plus 3 against Iowa State. It's so funny, by the way. We just did videos on all these, so it feels like people watch both, watch all of our content, but it is wild that we're just rehashing what we talked about a little bit ago. However, Iowa State was bad last week. Mm-hmm. Really bad against the rush. Colorado has a quarterback, assuming he doesn't turn the ball over 3 times, assuming he plays, that I think should be able to put up points. I'm going back and looking at Iowa State's season, Paige, and I'm kind of thinking it's sort of bullshit.
Yeah.
I think it's bullshit. I think it's kind of fool's gold here.
I don't disagree with you. The issue for me is just on the other side, there's way too much going on. So I think there's a quarterback issue with Colorado. I think there's a lot of discussion around those 2 guys and who should be playing, whether it's Caden Salter or Juju Lewis. I think Coach Prime having to be out this week and dealing with a lot of stuff is, it's not a distraction by any means. And like, I just think there's a lot going on. They also are really banged up. Like this Colorado team has a bunch of starters on offense and defense that are hurt. So I think it's just like the nature of, hey, a lot of things are stacking up against Colorado than I think in terms of like, oh, okay, I trust Iowa State, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the ranked team, number 22, going up against a 2-4, and the line is a field goal. Like, just watch out. All right, Big 12. I don't have some crazy lead on this game. I just feel it in my heart. Utah minus 5.5 against Arizona State. Now, you brought up a really, really interesting point for Alabama, that like the grind has been going. That Alabama was been in the grind, and I agree with you. And I kind of think the same thing about Arizona State. Yep. You look at this season, right? Mississippi State lost was a grind. They played Texas State fine. At Baylor, they win, grind. Playing TCU, win, grind. Both games 27-24. When I've watched them, they have not been overwhelming. They've not been bad. They've not been overwhelming. And I think this environment, this road trip, we liked Texas Tech coming into this play. Texas has won. Arizona State does not have nearly the same talent.
No.
Nearly the same talent. And I think Utah at home, their quarterback will be a problem. I think Utah's going to win this game comfortably, honestly. I think this could be a blowout.
I don't think it'll be a blowout. I do think that Utah wins, despite Kenny Dillingham's best effort to dump balls in water and do all these crazy things to make sure that they're prepared. I think that Utah is going to win this one. Especially like to your point, like going into that environment. I don't know. I just think Utah is set up for success on this front and definitely needs it to stay alive in the Big 12 case. And I think beating Arizona State really puts you in a good spot in terms of head-to-head for other teams.
Yes.
That'll be in the mix as well.
Last but not least, Texas A&M -7.5 versus Florida. Florida, you got to go on the road now, and you got to play a team that wins in a variety of ways against a quarterback that is going to provide more issues than the one you just played. I think Texas A&M is legit. I've been impressed by the way they're just sort of iguana-ing. Like, whatever the game needs for them to win, they find a way to do it. I was really impressed with them last week. Look, Billy Napier, has zombie Napier maybe back again, and maybe he finds a way to do it. I don't see it. I think A&M puts that to bed.
I think I said this on our AP poll show. Is Texas A&M at home this week?
Yes.
Yeah, they just play at home every week, it feels like.
they
Why am I not
do.
seeing them on the top? I literally can't find this game on. That's so weird. But anyway, there we go. I genuinely believe that Texas A&M is just skating by and quietly doing all these things. I don't think this is a Billy Napier situation where they're able to, keep his job and go on a run maybe. I don't know. I wasn't as impressed with Texas A&M last week offensively, but I don't know. I'll side with Texas A&M on this one and not Florida.
By the way, 4 out of the last 6 games for them will be on the road. They play at Arkansas, at LSU, at Missouri, South Carolina, Samford, and then at Texas. So there are some road trips coming because it does feel like outside of Notre Dame, they have not been on the road.
Yes.
Crazy.
It's nuts.
All right. Random shit.
One of the things that you and I have talked about off line quite a bit, that is a topic of conversation every football season, but is very relevant because this week, this Saturday, is the most popular date for a wedding this year. And I told you that was on The Knot, and you said, "What's The Knot?" Which is hilarious. It's like a wedding website. It's like the largest wedding website there possibly is.
What does it do though? Like, what
The
is
Knot? There's like tips on wedding, finding vendors, finding venues. It's like probably the largest bridal, wedding network there is. So no offense to all the others, but The Knot is probably one of the more popular.
Sponsor us.
Yeah, The Knot podcast. Because I am in fact having a fall wedding. So Ryan McGee for ESPN wrote a story about fall weddings and, the topic of conversation, because again, it is relevant this week. I am having a fall wedding. My wedding is November 29th. It's rivalry week. And what's funny about this is that if you would have said to me 2 years ago, Paige, you're going to get married during football season, I would have been like, no way. Because to be fair, I struggle to attend weddings in the fall. However, my own, making it work. So my thing here is really, as long as you're having a fall wedding and you are comfortable with people being on their phones watching games, it's fine by me, because realistically speaking, you have a ceremony that's 30 minutes. The rest of the time you could be on your phone, silent. You can watch during speeches, you can watch during dinner, you can do whatever you want. You can still watch football games while attending a wedding, and if you can't, then you kind of seem soft. So to me, it's less about it also, if I, who work in college football, can take a week to get married off during the season, I think you're going to be okay too, buddy.
I got married in the fall because I love the fall and because I get very hot in suits. So I wanted to get married in.
Can confirm. Can confirm.
Yes, you can confirm. So that was part of it. And like, everyone needs to just shut the fuck up about and do what you want. And if you want to have a phone there, cool. And if you want to just be a fucking human for a few hours, that's fine too.
Yes.
They have this amazing technology now, Paige. It's called a DVR. You can actually watch the games. You can actually go home and watch it and skip. You could do that. You could do it wherever.
You can stream it. Yeah, it's not as cool if you see where there were. Also, spoiler alert for those attending my wedding, there are going to be TVs, so you can watch whatever game you want to watch after the ceremony.
And that's awesome, by the way. Leading into it is cool.
Yeah,
or saying hey, culturally that just creates a kind of a neat, the culture of fandom in college football is, I think, special, and so that in itself I think is very, very cool because people are they flock to that. It creates happiness, it creates excitement and everything else.
We obviously know Nick and I both love college football, so done, makes sense. And also I wanted to get married at this venue, and I had the choice of 2 weekends in November or next year, and I would have to wait till the spring. No, I wasn't waiting. I'm so sorry. I was not going to wait 6 more months to get married. It was not happening. It was not. I had already had to delay what I wanted to do initially because as you know, I was sick and trying to figure out what was going on. So we didn't make wedding plans immediately. And I was I'm sorry, I'm not waiting another 6 months. It's just simply not happening. And that's way more important than me being able to watch football games for one Saturday. You muted yourself.
I didn't mean to. That was weird, man. My Riverside has been doing all sorts of weird shit throughout the pod.
It's doing weird stuff right now, but that's okay.
Okay, good. No, I'm actually excited to read the piece because the dialogue, I don't like meatheads talking about it. Ryan McGee's not a meathead. Ryan McGee will do an elegant job of talking. Yes. Yeah. So I get married when you want to get married. And if you're telling people otherwise, you're a loser. Don't do that.
Yeah. If that's what you're hanging your hat on and the hill you're going to die on, find a new one. There's so much technology nowadays that you can't watch college football.
That's the other thing.
I mean, it's so aged. It's so aged.
Yeah, what is this, 2001? Yes.
Yeah, you don't have a cell phone and a quad box on YouTube TV? Sorry, that's your problem. That's a you problem. It sounds like you don't like ball enough to have that. Sorry.
One of the greatest wins, I've told this story before, Iowa's ever had. They were playing Pitt. And I had my phone. I was about to walk into the venue, walk down, get ready. They're losing 20-3. Get married, come out, Iowa won. And it was I need to stop watching Iowa. I wish I listened to myself back then.
Yeah, actually, it sounds like you've been jinxing Iowa since then.
Fall weddings all the time.
By the way, the Arizona State game is on a Friday that week, so I'm good.
Yeah.
I
fuck
get
your
it.
Football. Whoa. Yeah. Fuck all your other football. I like that. That's even better.
Thank you.
I solve my problems, not yours.
Mm-hmm.
What other random shit? I got a little bit. I was in Vegas for 5 days. I went to, had fun, a lot of fun. Watched college football in multiple sports books Saturday, which is
you didn't have to write this weekend for us.
That was great. That was fun. Just watching college football as a fan. I went to the UFC event on Saturday night, and we went on a limb. We went last second. We actually won money, so we're let's go buy tickets. We spent more money on tickets than I was expecting to spend. It was so much fun though. And I will say, the vibe for a big UFC event, it was in T-Mobile, which I think is a really good venue too. Really good. It's not college football, never will be.
No.
But when there's action happening, oh man, it is hard not to get swept up in it. So we had fun. We won money.
By the way, buddy. We are almost a year out from getting college football in Vegas. We have Miami, and then we get Vegas.
I was thinking about that, and people were asking me when I was out there if I'd been to Allegiant Stadium, which I haven't. Have you been there? Have you been?
And Arizona's played. My brother's been. But yeah, no, I have not. And I'm looking forward to that national championship. That's for sure.
I wonder where the hotel's going to be. Like,
I would hope. Like, I mean, we usually stay at a pretty nice hotel. We're for sure going to be on the Strip.
Yes. But like, it's interesting. It'll be interesting to see.
Do you have a favorite hotel?
Aria is my go-to. See, I'm an MGM person out there.
So I'm an MGM loyalist as well. I all the times that I've been to Vegas, I have stayed at the MGM. Literally every time, either in the Signature or in the main MGM. Actually, that's not true. I stayed at the Monte Carlo years ago when I was like little and had a dance competition there. But other than that, I've literally stayed at the MGM. So if MGM wants to sponsor this podcast, been a loyalist for a while.
It really should, especially after the money I just spent at MGM. Mandalay Bay, if you're asking me who it's going to be, which is an MGM property, closest to the stadium, I would bet that would be where it's at.
That
would
be
my guess. Yeah.
Well, also just like another Vegas shout out, like the Cosmopolitan Chandelier Bar, excellent bar. It's one of my favorite places.
We had cocktails there. They're just like
got
48 hours ago.
You could probably dedicate a whole episode to
my favorite restaurant is also in the Cosmo, which is Zuma. Zuma is, I go there every time I'm in Vegas. It's tapas, but elegant tapas, like the best tapas.
All right. Well, then we're going to make a reservation really early for National Championship.
Oh my God. I was thinking about that. I was starting to get pumped because you got Miami, Vegas, New Orleans.
Fun. We haven't been to a warm place.
I know. Fucking Indianapolis. Jesus. I like Indy, by the way.
We were in Atlanta, by the way, when it was like the coldest day they've had in what, like 30 years or something ridiculous.
Miami will do just fine. Thank you.
Miami will be all right.
Anything else?
No.
All right. Big week. Big week.
Watch 8 people on Sunday.
8 people on Sunday. I will have a voice for this one. Last one was rough, but we made it through. Good games. We will talk to everybody on Sunday and talk to you again next week.